How we doing, friends? My name is Jesse and welcome back to Male Nurse Mentor. You guys see the title? Today I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why nursing doesn't suck. The purpose behind this video, friends, is honestly I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing all those really bad negative videos about nursing as a career. People quitting, people leaving, people telling you other displeasures. But the fact is, friends, from my point of view, and take this from someone who never even wanted to become a nurse, right? I'm gonna be blunt with you. I didn't actually want to be a nurse. I didn't grow up wanting to be a nurse, but here I am, having made a career out of it. And my thing is, when I list these things out, right, the pros and the cons of a nursing career, of being a nurse, there are far more pros than there are cons. The pros of this career alone, even if it's a handful, today I'm gonna tell you 5. Just these 5 would make this career worth it. Because if you compare this career to a lot of other careers or majors you can get, in college nowadays, nursing is a far superior career. If at the end of this video, friends, I haven't done a good job to convince you why you should continue to pursue nursing if you're pursuing this career, or to actually stay working as a nurse, I don't know what I can do for you. But because I made a video of why nursing sucks, I want to balance this out why it doesn't. So for this first one, number 1, the bottom line, the time and money invested for a nursing career makes it worth it, if nothing else. And I don't know how else to show you than just by showing you an actual direct example of the numbers, okay? Time-wise, I'll let you know. In comparison, if you're going to college, it doesn't take any longer necessarily than any other degree. So let's say from the very beginning, some students can get it done in 4 years, maybe 5 years. It took me 5.5 years because of schooling at a community college. It took me 3 years to get those prereqs done. And then my program itself was 2.5 years. So for me, 5.5 years, I've seen students get it done in 4. So take these numbers into account. No different than any other major, any other degree right now in college. But when it comes to the money invested, right, the cost and the potential for earnings, let's break those numbers down. I want to show you. So here we are on California Pre-Nursing website. Shout out, it's actually my website. Check it out if you're curious. There's some services on there and a free nursing school list for California students. So check it out. But I'm going to use that as a reference just for now. Okay, bear with me. Right, here's the nursing schools list. I'm going to go to CSUs. I just want to show you in California just as an example, okay? So there's a couple here to choose from. CSU Bakersfield, and we're just going to go through them, okay? CSU Bakersfield, $33,000. CSU Channel Islands, $18,000. CSU Chico, on average $21,190. CSU East Bay, $19,000. CSU Fullerton, $22,500. CSU Long Beach, $18,000. So all these are CSUs. I'm not gonna say all of them, but let's just say on average, right, with a generous amount. Bakersfield is $33,000 for a 3-year program, so that's why it's a little more. But I just wanna be, like, let's just say 30,000, right, on average. I mean, that's even being very generous for some of these that are in the 20s, right, even the teens. But let's just say 30,000. Let me show you how much you can make as an RN when you start working, the average income, the average salary as an RN. So here we are, it's nursa.com, I believe, and this is the guide for RN salary in California. I know a lot of you are gonna say, oh, well, it's California. California is a high cost of living state, they're gonna pay you more. That's true, right? I'm not gonna tell you that's not true, that is true. But again, I'm just showing you an example of if you went to become a nurse, going through the CSU system, the California State University system, the time, the money invested for this RN career, how much you could potentially make earnings-wise as an RN, and why it is worth it, okay? So the average mean, right, 133,000. I Googled a couple other websites, and I saw anywhere between 120, 125. Here's 133,000. Let's take the lowest end, $120,000 average, right? In the state of California, it's gonna be your salary working as an RN. Your investment was $30,000, okay? You're going to make $120,000. This reason alone isn't enough to convince you why nursing doesn't suck as a career. I don't know how else to help you, friends. If nothing else, the time and the money invested, whenever you hear me say that, makes it worth it. I'm like, even if you don't like the career, why wouldn't you go ahead and do it? The key parts to being a nurse: be empathetic, be compassionate, be understanding, be wanting to help people, society, a collective whole. Those are the requirements, right? Apart from the prerequisites and other things, but the requirement to become a nurse, even if you don't want to, are those things. So I just wanted to start here at number one with this, because this is fact. I'm like, they could pay me $133,000 and, you know, I can go scrub toilets. Like how bad can it suck, right? When you're getting paid well, when the time invested for this career wasn't that bad to begin with, right? Like sometimes you eat it, you just eat it anyway. So moving forward now, right? Number two, I wrote, it's a noble career, right? Some people really care about this piece when it comes to a nursing career, right? A lot of people are very proud to say I'm a nurse, right? A lot of people actually really do look up to you when you're a nurse. It is and has been the number one most trusted profession out of all the careers, right? Taking doctors, pharmacists, you know, maybe your local plumber, like maybe that's not the best example, but you know what I mean, right? Some people really do care about this piece. But it also goes back to what I was telling you are some of those actual personal prerequisites to being a nurse, right? You have to be empathetic, compassionate, understanding. You have to have this desire to help people. All those things combined make it so people do view you this way, right? You behave in society in a way that a lot of people are very thankful of you for, right? When people are sick, you're in your sickest moments. Oftentimes those are your worst days in life. And who's there with you? Oftentimes it's going to be a nurse, right? Taking care of you. A doctor can come in for 15 minutes. You're there for hours on end each week, right? With these patients. And because of that, I think it's a noble career. And ultimately, bottom line is if you're looking for a career that's respected, that contributes a lot to society, that has almost, you could say, a greater purpose, right? Compared to other careers. I think all careers in a sense have a purpose and a contribution to society. But if you're looking for one specific in the healthcare field, one that you feel is like of a greater calling, nursing is that. Nursing can definitely be that. So I did just want to mention this here at number two, because it is one that matters. And I think it matters for a lot of people, as I've heard reasons why people do become nurses, right? Is for this piece right here. So here, friends, at number three, I wrote, there is money to be made for those that want it. There's money to be made as a nurse. You can work overtime. There's usually a lot of overtime. It depends where you work. I came from the correctional setting, a ton of overtime. There was nurses that are working overtime a ton, pulling in a lot of good money, right? You know, they talk about this nursing shortage. Well, when there's a nursing shortage somewhere in your facility, that often leads to a lot of open shifts that you can pick up and work overtime. So those overtime checks, they compound in a way over the years, right? And you do make more. Just be careful with lifestyle creep and inflating that lifestyle. You know, you don't want to get yourself into a big situation, right? Where you have all these bills, your lifestyle's so inflated, and you just have to work all this overtime to keep up, right? Be careful. But if you want money, it's there. The other thing I wrote here is travel nursing with this. You know, during the pandemic, some of these weekly checks that these nurses were getting were insane, especially some of the ones that were working right next to me, working in corrections. These people came in and they were making double what I was making, doing the same exact work, just being a travel nurse. But if your goal as a nurse is to make money, you can definitely just go and be a travel nurse, make some really good money, and then maybe use that money to buy things or invest it and retire early. It's really your choice. But there's a lot of money to be made. The other thing I wrote here is because of the schedule that you have. Oftentimes as a nurse, if you work in a hospital, it's 3 shifts, 3 12s. What do you do with all that extra time? Well, you can have an extra job, right? You really can. I've known plenty of nurses actually have 2 nursing jobs. They work their primary nursing job, and then they have another one where they work kind of per diem. So if you're looking for a career or looking for reasons why nursing is worth it, the money alone is definitely worth it. So for this next one, friends, number 4, I wrote career advancement. There's so much. I mean, let me just break it down, right? ADN, MSN, DNP. ADN is your associates, MSN is your master's of nursing, DNP is your doctorate of nurse practitioner. It's like your doctorate degree in nursing. There's different levels here. You can advance as you wish and as you desire. And as far as the titles that you can have as a nurse, I know in this video, specifically I'm talking about RN, but just through the journey, right? CNA, LVN, RN, NP, and then CRNA. And as you climb these titles, the idea is you're going to make more money. So career advancement is definitely there. I've gotten many questions. A lot of people I've seen make comments that career advancement is one of the reasons why they really desire a nursing career. And that's one of the reasons I've always looked at it in a good way too. Just knowing that you could start somewhere. If you desire to climb, you can. You can go into nursing management, nurse leadership. If you're a nurse, you can even make it into executive line staff. Or you can stay on the side of clinical. You can become a nurse practitioner. You can go higher than that and become a CRNA. And all of these lead to pay bumps, lead to maybe a sense of satisfaction in completing another level of the challenge, right? In terms of increasing something, right? Playing this game of, I did this accomplishment, I want to accomplish more, I want to accomplish more. A lot of people really enjoy, climbing that ladder, or just personal growth and development, right, in your career. Nursing definitely has this. You can start as a CNA, go to an RN. From an RN, you can go back to school, get your master's. Maybe your master's is in administration. Like me, I work as a nurse consultant from my desk, from home. But apart from this, I could have gone into being an NP. They also have their master's degree. You can get into clinical stuff, right? Endless career advancement opportunities. I know a lot of jobs aren't like this. You kind of are somewhere, that's your spot, and maybe it takes decades to get to just the next spot. But in nursing, it's just almost endless. And for this last one, friends, I wrote number 5, career flexibility. When I look at my nursing career, I think that I display a very good example of career flexibility. I worked as a correctional nurse, and I work from home, right? And that is a great picture of you work in one specialty in one setting, and then later on you decide you want to work in another specialty in another setting. And that's the thing with this career. There's so many specialties. All of that leads to career flexibility. If you get tired of working in one floor of the hospital, you go to another floor in the hospital. If you get tired of working in the hospital, you can go work out of the hospital. There's plenty of places you can work. Corrections is one I have directly become aware of just by working in it. And then also there's work from home nurse positions, right? You can work for health insurance companies, which, maybe some people have opinions on right now, or you can work for the state government. I work for the state government working from home. Some people work in public health. There's so many different options. Some people are school nurses. I've seen cruise ship nurses. I've seen oil rig nurses, psych nurses, triage nurses, over the phone. Like, there's so much. And that's why it continues to baffle my mind. And I get very passionate about these type of videos about why I try to convince people to become nurses, is because when you see these people say they quit, when you see people, hey, I'm leaving nursing, did you give everything else a try before you quit? Because if you didn't, then that was likely a mistake. Because if you didn't like this one spot, one floor, one management staff in your nursing career, you just neglected everything else that exists. You didn't even give it a try. And that's where I say a lot of people make mistakes. And that's why I really try to push these type of videos, so I'll let you guys know, slow down. Before you make that very large life decision, let me tell you what is actually out here as well from this other perspective. Sidetracked on these things, but I get passionate. So I talked on the specialties, the places to work, and then there's also shift types. For me, I've always worked as a nurse with 5 8-hour shifts, and I've enjoyed that. I wasn't really a fan of the 3 12-hour shifts in the hospital. One of the couple reasons I didn't want to actually work in a hospital, for some people like me, you'd maybe desire a more steady, balanced, spread out schedule. 5 shifts, 8 hours each, a typical 9 to 5. For me, I've always liked that. I've always kind of wiggled my way to get weekends and holidays off working for the state government as a nurse. The work-life balance for that is amazing. But some of you like just getting your 312s, knocking them out, maybe combining 6 in a row, and you're off for 2 weeks, right? And now you can actually go travel and do all these other things with your time off, which is also really awesome. It's like you get to pick and choose in this career. There's a lot of flexibility. So the biggest thing to take away from this one, number 5, is the amount of flexibility in specialty, the type of nursing, the type of shifts you can work, your schedules, and this idea of career, mapping. For me, I started as a prison nurse or as a jail nurse, then went to the prison. Now I work from home. There's no linear path of a nursing career. There really isn't. And that's really nice, because as you are somewhere, if you really want a big change, you can likely find it. You may have to work to kind of navigate to getting that change, but it is possible. It is possible. I found that out myself. Just got to get creative sometimes, maybe go back to school sometimes, but it's out there for you. And so that's going to be it, friends. I'm giving you 5 reasons. I think this is enough to hopefully convince you to become a nurse. If you're like, Jesse, I want to hear a radical truth, I'm done with you telling me all the reasons why it's so great. I don't know if I believe you. I got to hear that radical truth first. I got to hear that comparison, that compare and contrast. That's fine. I have another video. I tell you 5 reasons why nursing sucks. I'm going to put that at the end of this video. Click on it. And just as I'm honest here, I'm honest there. I tell you 5 actual reasons why nursing sucks. And they're ongoing. Those reasons still exist right now. So you go and look at both videos and then you compare and contrast. You make your pros and cons list of being a nurse or looking at the nursing career and deciding for yourself if it's worth it. I'm around, friends. If you have questions, you can reach me on Instagram at Male Nurse Mentor. Send me a DM with simple questions. Or if you want to reach me in a different way, I also have that website, californiaprenursing.com. If you want to work with me directly on your pre-nursing journey, for example, I have some services there available. As always, friends, I'm here and I'll see you on the next one.